Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about the new Dawn of DC books that were announced and their creative teams and all the details we got on them. So, shout out to Danny who suggested this in my Discord that I make a video on this. Link in the description if you want to join my Discord and suggest things that I should make a video on. Anyways, let's talk about this. So Dawn of DC, it's DC's new initiative that they announced like late last year. We got a bunch of books announced. Now we've got more details announced for these books and some other things. They've been slowly rolling all this out for some reason. I don't understand why they're doing this so slow. I don't think this is a great way to drive hype for your books. And these new books do not have me excited at all, mainly because of the creative teams. What they've been doing does not look too good. So let's jump into it. Starting off with Wonder Woman, which will be from Tom King and Daniel Sampere. They'll be the creative team on that book. That doesn't inspire a whole lot of hope. Daniel Sampere is amazing, a fantastic artist. He does amazing stuff on Nightwing, but sadly, art can only go so far when you have bad writing, and he hasn't been able to save the Nightwing book because Tom Taylor's been ruining that book for a while now, and I have a feeling that's how it's going to go with Wonder Woman here. Tom King, he's very 50-50. He occasionally will accidentally write a good comic. That happens sometimes. It's rare, but it does happen. Now, on an ongoing, I have zero faith in him writing a good comic, though. He doesn't know how to pace himself. He doesn't know how to write a good ongoing. Generally, when he does accidentally write a good comic, it's a mini-series or a maxi-series. It's something more contained. Writing an in-canon ongoing book, not a lot of faith. But let's read the description of this book, what this book's going to be about. After a mysterious Amazonian is accused of mass murder, the U.S. Congress passes the Amazon Safety Act, barring all Amazons from American soil. To carry out its new law, the government sets up the Amazon Extradition Entity, AXE Task Force, to remove those who don't comply by any means necessary. In her search for the truth behind the killing, Wonder Woman now finds herself an outlaw in the world she once swore to protect. Wonder Woman investigating a murder sounds interesting, I like that concept, but everything else around it sounds dumb. Kind of doing a Civil War type deal sounds really stupid with an anti-Amazon act. Also, if you're going to do that, banning Wonder Woman is one of the dumbest things. She's helped save America how many times, and now they're like, oh no, she probably has something to do with this murder. Let's ban. It just sounds really stupid. Within the context of the DC universe, it sounds really dumb for them to put in this act that bans all Amazons. If they wanted to, there should be something where, okay, we're banning everyone but Wonder Woman because it's been clear that she wouldn't do something like this. That's really, really stupid. That's like if Zod murdered someone and then the United States of America was like, Superman's banned now too. We're banning all Kryptonians from the US of A. It doesn't make any sense. It's really stupid. And having this new task force sounds dumb. I'm not a fan of this premise. Again, Wonder Woman investigating murder sounds interesting, sounds something different. But everything else surrounding it, this whole sort of Civil War type deal and banning Amazons is, I don't think it'll be good. It'll be a very pretty book. Tom King's taking another very talented artist and just ruining him. Probably gonna have him do a lot of boring ass 9-panel grids. And that's what he does. So, not looking forward to this, but the sales will definitely go up because Tom King does sell, especially when he first gets on a book, and Wonder Woman's had a rough time as of late. He hasn't really had a good book in a fat minute now, so it is what it is. We'll see how it goes. Now, what makes me the most sad about all this is the fact that we're getting a new creative team on The Flash. Jeremy Adams is writing The Flash right now, and it's been amazing what he's done with Wally West, how he's been able to restore his character has been nothing short of, magical. How he's been able to do this is insane, considering if you just go back a few years when we had Heroes in Crisis and all that crap that happened, it looked like Wally was done for, and he's been brought out of the trenches, and he's a great character again. His family was restored. This has been a great book, and among DC fans, it's probably the one that I hear the most unanimously praised as the best book at DC right now. My personal favorite is Action Comics, but as far as just going, if you're just pulling all of the DC fans, I think the one you hear the most is Jeremy Adams' Flash. It's really, really good, and they're taking him off the book for Cy Spurrier, who I don't know who that is. I looked him up, and he wrote some 2020 Hellblazer and a couple other things. I don't think I've ever read a comic from this guy. I don't know why you're taking a guy that is unanimously loved and doing fantastic work on the character and replacing him with some nobody that hasn't really written anything anyone knows about. And it's not oh no, he hasn't written anything mainstream. It's no, he's written stuff that everyone forgets in a week because he hasn't written anything good. I was looking around, maybe he has some book that has a small fan base that people really love. Nope. There's nothing really people like about this guy's comics. I don't know, maybe he's decent, maybe he's okay, but what I'm saying, there's nothing where it's yeah, this guy's a diamond in the rough. So Not looking forward to that. The artist is also Mike Deodato Jr., who I'm not the biggest fan of. That guy's art, it's all personal preference, obviously, when it comes to art, especially. But I'm not the biggest fan of his art. He was the reason I stopped reading Old Man Logan. When the Old Man Logan was going on, they switched creative teams. Because I was a decent enough fan of the writer, but then Mike Deodato Jr. came on the art, and I was like, I can't stand this. I don't like looking at this. So yeah, again, all personal preference. Maybe you watching this like him, that's fine, but I don't. So yeah, not a fan of the writer, not a fan of the artist, so this doesn't look like the greatest book. But let's actually, before we get into the summary of the book, Jeremy Adams posted on Twitter about this. So let's read what he had to say. So Jeremy Adams had to say this. Well, a couple of months ago, I was told my time on The Flash was coming to an end with issue 800. I am very bummed about the decision. I've fallen in love with the West family and had many more stories in mind, but they said they wanted a new creative and tonal direction, and well, that's that. However, I am forever grateful for my time with the West and all the adventures we've had together. I also want to extend a big thank you to the Flash family. You guys are the best fans a nerd like me could ask for. And then he talks about some other future projects. But that's just really sad that you have a writer that loves the character, you have fans that love what the writer's doing, and you go, we want to go a new direction with this. That makes no sense. Why is DC doing this? Or like, yeah, Wally's had it too good for too long. He's had like a year maybe where it's been good. We gotta trash his character again. This is really dumb decision making from DC. I don't understand this. And again, it's not like they're replacing with like a legendary writer or someone like amazing. Even then, it wouldn't make sense considering how much people like Jeremy Adams, but at least then you would kind of understand. No, it's some nobody that hasn't written anything. So DC doesn't make sense. But let's read the summary for the book. Wally West has never been quicker, more fulfilled, more heroic. His loving family is around him, and yet something is off. Very off. His evolving understanding of his powers has opened Wally to new avenues of sci-fi adventure, and attuned his senses to strange new ideas. Something whispers from the dark vibrations beyond the Speed Force, and as Wally experiments with creative new approaches to his powers, he encounters new realms, mysterious allies, and mind-shattering terrors. So from that, it sounds like the new direction they wanted to go on was they didn't want Wally to be as much of a family man and wanted him going on more adventures, which is kind of lame because that's what people like about Wally, is that like in the modern age is how he is his family, and that's what people like were missing when he came back and everything. And now they're just gonna send him off to like other dimensions and stuff, it sounds like, to away from his family. I don't know why DC hates his family, but that's what DC's doing. Next, we have Steelworks, which is a comic that was announced initially with the dawn of DC, but we didn't have a creative team or anything about the book, other than that was going to be about Steel and Natasha Irons. So now we actually have a creative team. And again, it's a bunch of, it's a nobody writer. We got Michael Dorn, who, he voiced Steel in the Superman the Animated series, and he's from like Star Trek, one of the Star Trek series, I think Next Generation. I'm not a Star Trek fan, so yeah. So you got an actor to write a Steel comic for some reason. He played Steel in the animated series, but I don't think that necessarily qualifies you to write a comic book on him, but whatever. And then we got Sami Basri. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but from what I've seen, his art's pretty good, so at least I got a good artist on it. I love Steel. I think he doesn't get enough recognition. I was happy when he got a book announced, but this creative team does not inspire confidence, especially when Steel's a character that's a hard sell because he's not a super popular character. This book's definitely not going to sell well. So you think you'd want to put like a good creative team on there to at least move some people over, so some people that don't really know about Steel or care about him at all be like, ooh, I like that writer, I'll go check it out. Instead, you get Michael Dorn. I don't think there's any like Star Trek fans that are going to be like, I'm going to read Michael Dorn's new comic. I doubt that. So yeah, this doesn't get me particularly hyped, but let's read the summary. Metropolis of the future is here today, but can't survive a terrorist who's out for revenge against its builder, John Henry Irons, aka Steel, and his company Steelworks, and who possesses secrets that could undo everything John has worked so hard to build. While John's professional life is firing on all cylinders, his personal life is even better, as his on-again, off-again relationship with Lana Lang might be back on, permanently. Now he must decide whether it's time to give up being Steel once and for all, but does John even know who he'd be without his superhero identity? How does the other Steel, John's niece, Natasha Irons, feel about his momentous decision? And does any of that matter if Steelworks crumbles around him when he lacks his superpowers to fight back? That's like an okay premise, sounds if they do have him give up the Steel mantle, I think that's really dumb. If like they decide to have him in the background, Natasha Irons be like Steel, and he gives up the mantle and just decides to like live his life, I think that's kind of lame and stupid, especially for a Steel book. It's like I don't want that to happen, but who knows? We'll see. I'm really hoping this book is good. I would like it to be good, but who knows? I want all these books to be good, to be honest. But this is the one that I feel like I might have the most hope for, just because it's like maybe it won't be horrible. I don't have a lot of confidence in it, but I'm like, hey, at least Michael Dorn has like no prior writing at all, so you don't know if it'll be good or bad. Like Tom King, we know he sucks. But with Michael Dorn, it's like, hey, he hasn't done anything, so maybe, who knows? So maybe wishful thinking, I know, but we'll see how it goes. And the final of the 4 books is Hawkgirl, which is also from a writer that I've never heard of, which is Jadzia Axelrod. When I looked her up, I think she had written some I think she wrote like one DC Pride book, and also I think like some young adult stuff or like teenage stuff. So yeah, again, someone else who hasn't written anything but is getting a Hawkgirl book, a character that does have like a small cult following that people really like, not like a big, huge popular character, but definitely has her own following and would be cool to relaunch. But you're putting a nobody on the book that has not proven themselves, and the things they have written are not the best. So it's like, why, DC? The artist is Amanke Noel Pen. I hope I pronounced that right and didn't butcher it. He's done some good stuff though, so it's a good artist at least. But man, like, I don't understand these creative team decisions. It's like, hey, here's a writer that has written 5 comics and no one liked the 5 comics they wrote, so we're giving them a character that they definitely do not deserve and relaunching and hoping people get into it. It's like, man, again, Hawkgirl's not a big character. She's got her following. If you really want people to get into her, why are you putting this person on the book? Why? There's no signs pointing to, yeah, they're gonna do good. Like, that rarely works out. One of the few times it did work out with Jeremy Adams, where he hasn't really written much and then he got put on The Flash. It turns out he's amazing for The Flash. But that is rare. More often than not, that does not happen. And the premise for the book sounds like the weakest out of all the 4. And it's really disappointing also, because when they did the initial Dawn of DC like slate release and they had this like thing in the corner, I believe, if I remember correctly, they had like the Hawkman symbol kind of hiding over there, and people were like, oh, Hawkman book. Now we're getting a Hawkgirl book. We're not getting like a Hawkman and Hawkgirl book or something. We're just getting Hawkgirl. So that's a little disappointing. But anyways, let's read what it's about. Kendra Saunders, the winged warrior, better known as Hawkgirl, has been one of the DC Universe's greatest heroes for a long time, serving as a member of both the Justice League and the Justice Society. But with the Justice League disbanded, Kendra decides she needs a fresh start and heads to Metropolis to begin a new life. That life is quickly interrupted by a mysterious villain with a powerful connection to the nth metal that makes up Hawkgirl's wings and weapons. Hawkgirl will also feature a series of variant covers that recount Kendra's DC history. Yeah, it just sounds really lame. Her fighting people in Metropolis. What? Why? What? It doesn't sound interesting. And this creative thing, again, the artist is good. No, nothing towards the artist, but the writer, I don't know why you're putting the writer on there. And again, maybe the writer's amazing, and I just haven't had the chance to flesh out their skills yet. But none of these writers on any of these books make me go, yeah, they'll do good. I'm not picking up a single one of these. There's not a single one of these that day one I'm going to go and be like, yes, please, I'm picking that up. These are all that, like, maybe if I hear enough good word of mouth, I'll pick up one of them. But otherwise, I have no plans. I'm not pre-ordering any of these. When my comic shop, like, sends out, like, hey, you can pre-order these comics now, I'm not pre-ordering any of these. None of these make me want to buy them. Why is DC doing this? Why are they doing this slow rollout? I don't understand what is up with this. Like, you got it. When you have, especially when you have these characters that aren't very popular, but do have, like, smaller fan bases, like Steel and Hawkgirl, who they do have their small fans that like really like them. I'm one of them when it comes to Steel. But they're not big characters that are going to sell well, so you need to put good creators on there to get people interested in it, and then people will go, hey, this book's actually really good, and then it spreads. But instead, no, you're putting a bunch of nobodies on those books, so you have nobody characters with nobody writers. That's not a good combo. That's not good. That's not how you get people to like a character more, by putting, frankly, more talentless writers on there. That's not a good thing to go. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping these writers turn out to be amazing and DC knows what they're doing. But if I had to bet money on it, I would say that I'm probably right on this, and DC doesn't know what they're doing, and these writers aren't going to do good, and a lot of these books are going to get canceled. So we'll see how it goes. Also, I forgot to mention, like, on the DC slate thing, you see, like, Detective Chimp holding Dr. Fate's helmet for some reason, so I don't know what that's alluding to. Maybe like a Dr. Chimp mini-series or something. Maybe something for Black Label. I don't know, because they haven't really, with Dawn of DC, they haven't really announced any other stuff. Or I guess Dawn of DC is more the canon stuff, so maybe they won't do anything Black Label. But I don't know. But yeah, teasing Dr. Chimp and teasing Detective Chimp and Dr. Fate. Sorry, I got all that mixed up. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. What do you think of all this? Are you excited for any of them? I personally am not. I really feel bad for Wonder Woman fans because Wonder Woman should just become like a depressed idiot is what's going to happen, because that's what happens to everyone Tom King writes. So my heart is with you, Wonder Woman fans. I'm sorry that you're going to have to go through that, especially because the first issue or two might be good. Knowing Tom King, he might actually like write a good issue or two, and then it's just going to go downhill fast. So yeah. Anyways, again, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of all this. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all later.
Hey, skinny boy, saucy boy, I be running to the bank. Yeah, you know I hit the gas in the whip full tank. Riding past the ocean while I'm listening to Frank.